What is up, racing fans? Welcome back to another edition of Before the Odds. I want to say podcast, but I think it's turning into a YouTube channel. So welcome back, guys. You got your boy Pick 5 Johnny here and Big Willis in the house.
Yes, sir.
And we are talking about the 3-year-olds. Before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, guys, check out that older horse video we had on the breeders also coming up. Just giving you a little idea of some of the older horses I would like in there, but I'm sure Big Wills would like them too. So just make sure you check that out. But let's not waste any time. Let's talk about these 3-year-olds, man. It's been a good year.
This whole year we've been talking about the 3-year-old crop, and it's very competitive and they're very good. And there's a lot better 3-year-olds than there are older horses. If you look at it as a whole. I know my pick and has not my. I don't have my pick necessarily, but I know my pick's going to be a 3-year-old. And it's been like that for a long time. I said in our Travers video that there's a good chance that the winner of the Breeders' Cup Championship would be coming out of that race, and that's a 3-year-old race. And he's going in there very strong, and that's Arcangelo. He ended up winning that race, and there's only one other horse to do that, and that's his father. And
let's take a look at some of the key 3-year-old races that happened this year. Now, why are they key? And we're pulling this slide up now. Is because all these races were 1.25 miles, and that's the distance that the Breeders' Cup is going to be come that first Saturday in November. So we're talking about the 3 main races. You had the Kentucky Derby, which feels like it was last century. Yeah. It's crazy.
Time's flying.
So you had Mage in there. Mage, huge winner. Then we go to the Travers. We had Arcangelo, the Belmont champ, come back off of a 2-month layoff and rested and ran well, just like his father did in the Travers right before he won the Breeders, but we'll touch on that later. And then finally, we had the Pacific Classic. Now, this was against older horses.
That's what makes Arabian Night a little more special, because out of the crop of 3-year-olds that we're going to get talking about, and out of the best 3-year-olds that we're going to talk about, and that are running in the Breeders' Cup, he's the only one to beat older horses. And that's on the West Coast, where the Breeders' Cup's going to be ran. Was that group of older horses that good? Probably not the best Pacific Classic you're ever going to watch. I mean, the horse I got second, Go Rocket Ride, another 3-year-old, but a good quality 3-year-old. But he did it. He went out there and beat older horses. Mage hasn't done that. Arcangelo hasn't done that. Forte hasn't done that. And those are the top 3-year-olds leading into the Breeders.
Yeah, man. And another thing about that is Arabian Night turned the tables on Go Rocket Ride, because Go Rocket Ride beat Arabian Night in the Haskell, which was a pretty crazy race. Now, touching on that, let's look at some other 3-year-olds, right, that might have a shot in here that we've liked before. And one of them we already mentioned, which is Go Rocket Ride. But let's start with that first one. We're talking about Forte, your boy.
I've liked Forte all year, man. Ever since he was running down, ever since the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Championship last year, I've been on Forte. And the horse really hasn't done anything wrong. I don't think he's gotten worse than fourth.
Nope.
He's always in the Superfecta. He's got a lot of first places. He's won some big races, and he gives you heart every time. Forte really hasn't done nothing wrong. He's got the right jockey, the right trainer, and he's well bred. He's out of Tappet. Forte's a great horse. And
he's good.
He's going to be on my ticket going into the Breeders, and I'm only using 3-year-olds.
And this is what we talked about. I think the 3-year-old season took a toll on Mage, took a toll on Forte, because those two ran a lot. Forte had the freak thing that happened, scratched him out of the Derby, came back in the Belmont.
As the favorite.
Then he won the Jim Dandy in impressive fashion, beating Saudi Crown, who just won the Pennsylvania Derby. So he's a solid horse. So, it's just, I think this layoff is going to help a horse like him, and you'll probably get a good price.
You're going to get the best price you got on him in a long time. It's probably his toughest race of the year and his career, but Forte's going to give it to you, man. And everything lines up right. I said it: trainer, jockey, breeding.
100%. And then we've got Go Rocket Ride, who we already touched on. I've liked this horse since the Derby when he was scratched out of it, and then obviously you saw that Haskell. That Haskell win was huge. He runs back to that. He's going to be tough to beat on Breeders' Cup Day.
He's definitely not as consistent as Forte.
No.
But his performances when he wins are beyond more impressive than anything Forte does.
For sure.
When he 100%. Wins and he wins sound, he looks like he could be a world beater. But sometimes, he lays a dud. He's not as consistent. He's definitely more green, doesn't have as many races. But Go Rocket Ride's a solid horse.
He's a beast, man.
And gives you something.
And it's the West Coast, and he's a West Coast horse, man.
And he's already ran out there on the West Coast with it and gave Arabian Night everything he can handle.
And then let's talk about Disarm. Unfortunately, as you see in the slide, he is not going to make the trip to the Breeders. He has gone to the bench for unforeseen circumstances. So that's too bad because a lot of people were liking Disarm. Eventually, they felt like he was going to run that race to beat these other good horses. You know, he couldn't get it done in the Travers. He had a great, you know, I think he had a good trip.
Yeah.
You know, he got right up on the rail and you know, lost by, you know, a length to Arcangelo, who is a beast. So I thought it was a good race, but yeah, he won't be there. And then finally we have Practical Move, who I liked in the Derby also.
Yeah. And he's also coming from the west side.
West Coast.
Practical Move. This horse I don't like as much. It definitely doesn't have the credentials as some of the other horses we're talking about.
Yep.
He's more along the lines of the credentials of Disarm.
Yeah.
Little bit of a letdown. I don't think the breeding is there for the 1.25 miles, but the horse has a lot what it takes. I mean, he's got the right trainer, and a lot of people like him. He's a wise guy horse, and not one of my favorites going forward as the 3-year-olds. I won't be using him.
Yeah, I'm going to check him out. He's going to be in the Awesome Again coming up over at Santa Anita, so he will be on the West Coast, and that'll be a good race to see where he's at. Now, it could be, you know, kind of like a stepping stone for them to get to the breeders. So you never know with these horses
how he's going to run,
what the trainers might be doing or anything like that. But yeah, I would check him out in the Awesome Again, see how he runs. I know for me and Big Willis, he probably won't be on our tickets going forward.
Yeah, you know, Tim Yakteen trains him, and this is his horse. Right. This wasn't a Bob Baffert hand-me-down. So I know he's got love, and they really need something special out of him, but I think he's just a tier down beyond these horses in there. Yeah, man, that's why I really wanted to see him be successful, was because he was Tim Yakteen's own, not the Bob Baffert, you know, which I'm sure Bob was whispering in his ear anytime Yakteen had to take over his horses. Yeah. So it would have been nice to see that horse succeed. Maybe he will, and maybe he'll jump up, win this Awesome Again, and maybe, you know, show us something Breeders' Cup Day. I would have rather seen him in the dirt mile.
Yeah. That would be he could. I think he's a probable in both. Okay. If I'm not mistaken. So
I think that's where he belongs. Not saying he's gonna win that or whatnot, but I think that's the distance he's looking for.
Yeah, there's gonna be some really, really good races this year for the Breeders' Cup. It's gonna be really interesting going forward. And then finally, guys, something that we wanted to talk about and touch on is Arcangelo real quick. Right now, I mean, it isn't a bad price.
Not at all. You're getting the best. Right now, he's the top-ranked 3-year-old. Yeah. Arcangelo. I had him in the Peter Pan, and he ate me alive in the Belmont.
Yeah. And which is crazy to me. But, I mean, all the stats were against the Peter Pan and the Belmont from what we had seen. But we didn't look deep enough. Yeah. You know, we really didn't. When you look at this horse, Jenna Antonucci has done such an awesome job. And if you look at my slide here, I have these dates planned out. They went from the Peter Pan, that was the prep for the Belmont. They were getting that horse ready for the Belmont. Yep. It was almost like a training session for the Belmont regardless. Yep. You know, and then he went to the Belmont after winning the Peter Pan and
looked amazing.
Yep. Was amazing.
Beating Forte.
Yeah. And then went to the shelf, not to the shelf, but then they gave him a break and let him train up to the Travers. And it almost seems like,
well, the plan's obvious.
Right.
Right? Right. The plan's obvious. And how it sets up is almost identical.
Yeah.
And you get the distance with him. Mm-hmm. His father got the distance. Yeah. The only other horse to win the Travers and the Belmont, and the Breeders' Cup is Arrogate. You know, and that's who he's out of. And they look very similar when they run. You're getting Javier Castellano aboard. Javier Castellano is having a Hall of Fame year. It's a Hall of Fame rider, but this might be one of his best, like a career year for him.
Yeah, as far as big races go. Big races. He's not going to be the guy that's on every car.
No, he doesn't even run as much as these other guys. Yeah. He's getting older, but at one point, you know, 5, maybe closer to 10 years ago, Javier was that dude. He was down at Gulfstream, you know, Belmont. He was running. He's before Irad, before Jose. He's back on. Yeah. He's got the Kentucky Derby winner. Mm-hmm. He's got the Belmont winner, and he's rode the Travers winner. And he's back on Arcangelo to ride in the Breeders' Cup. It's a story for him, and I am pulling for Javier Castellano in this. I'm pulling for Antonucci.
Antonucci, man.
And Arcangelo,
she's tough.
It's not like they went. Tough. Yeah, she's good. It's not like they went and spent all this money on Arcangelo.
Yeah, if there's something that me and you know about is tough women. Think about our moms, right? Your wife. I mean, our grandparents, like tough-ass women that want to get the job done, that'll run through brick walls, and that is the type of woman that Jenna Antonucci is. She said, you know, if you don't have a seat at the table, make your own seat. Yeah. Like, she's a beast.
She did.
Yeah, she's awesome. And that is why the slide's up there, guys. You see it. They got the 2-month break, identical to the break from the Belmont to the Travers. Arcangelo will be ready. That horse is going to be biting at the bit to get to this race. I got chills talking about it.
Seriously, man. And my ticket could be easy as Arcangelo Forte.
Yeah, I could see it too. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the show for the 3-year-olds and the Breeders' Cup. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Also, check out the video at the end. It's of Arrogate. Check it out. I'm gonna try and put together these videos at the end of each of our Breeders' Cup, leading up to the Breeders' Cup, and just videos and highlights of these other horses that have run in the years past.
Yeah.
Get you guys excited and get us up to that Breeders' Cup. This one is a special one. It's Arrogate in the stretch run against, sorry, Big Willis, California Chrome.
My favorite horse of all time.
I know, man.
Thanks, Victor.
Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Once again, like and subscribe. Breeders' Cup 2023.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Into the stretch, and California Chrome comes roaring home with Arrogate coming after him on the outside. A furlong to run.